Welcome to the CiteSpace video series. In this video, we will explain the role of network overlay in CiteSpace and use scenarios in which using a network overlay can be useful. The process has a few steps. First, we need to have our datasets ready. A primary dataset and another dataset as the network overlay. Typically, the overlay network should have a substantial amount of overlap with the underlying network derived from the primary dataset so that the base network can provide a broader context for the overlay network. Now let's create a network overlay from a subset of the primary dataset. In this example, we use the duplicate removal function to extract all the review papers from the primary dataset. You may also use other methods to construct your overlay dataset, for example, using a modified query or using citing articles of a cluster. The next step is to visualize the overlay network and save its nodes in a file, and then visualize the base network with the primary dataset so that the saved file can be added as a network overlay to the primary network. Use the Overlays menu and select Save Node Keys to .list. Now create a new project with the primary dataset in CiteSpace. Once the network is visualized, use the Overlays menu and select Add Node Highlights by DOIs or Node Label Lists. The file we just saved from the overlay subset is a node label list file. Find the list file and selected the file. All the lines in black belong to the newly added network overlay. Since our overlay dataset contains all the review articles from the primary dataset, this overlay highlights co-citation connections exclusively made by these review articles. As we can see, review articles tend to connect major clusters well. On the other hand, there are clusters where review articles did not pay their attention in contrast to connections made by other types of articles. Such observations may provide valuable guidance for us to identify where a review paper would be particularly needed. Similarly, if the overlay represents articles funded by a specific funding agency, then one can intuitively analyze the scope of a portfolio of projects. The user can change the color of a network overlay from the Links menu and select the foreground color. In this video, we have explained the role of a network overlay in CiteSpace and demonstrated an example of a network overlay based on all the review articles from an underlying dataset. This function is flexible as you may choose any overlay dataset of your interest. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.